Welcome to the Get Real with King Arthur show. Now, you were all so kind, no one corrected me. I do know that the Biennale is held in Venice, Italy, and not Vienna. I've been to both cities, and so it's just a slip of the tongue. Oh, you sweet people, no one said, hey, you stupid. Oh, thank you for being so kind. Anyway, we're continuing left brain, right brain. And I'm going to introduce the idea, illustrating left brain, right brain, of something called the ladder of abstraction. And that means that language can appear on a rising scale of difference according to how abstract the language is. Let me give an example. Let's start talking about Farmer Brown and what he owns. We start with Bessie the cow, very specific. And then we get a little more abstract. We talk about cattle, because Bessie is one of a number of cattle. Then we can get more specific and say livestock. That's a little more abstract. And then we can get a little more general and say farm. Then we can get a little more abstract and end up with assets, which would include the bank account and whatever assets, personal or fungible, that exist. So there's a ladder, more abstract. You can be at any level of this ladder. Now, I find that the specifics at the bottom of the ladder are left brain, and the top of the ladder is right brain. Now, I could use another example, like a crossword puzzle, picture crossword puzzle. You can open up the box and scatter the pieces all there and look at all the pieces. But they don't mean too much. They may be pretty until you put them together in a picture, an abstract. So the important thing is for a person to use left brain and right brain. I'm saying climb the ladder of abstraction, up and down. So you can just talk about certain things that unconnected maybe. I can just say Balboa Park, Point Loma Peninsula, downtown San Diego, La Jolla. I could just go on with a long list, the naval base, etc. That's down low. Or I can climb up the ladder and talk about San Diego's economy. And or I could talk about San Diego's population. So I can use those little bits down the ladder and go up to a more abstract level. Now, the good writer or speaker or thinker moves up and down the ladder. I know some people that are all on little bits of information. And they go on, and well, what does it mean? What do you talk, so you talk about these little bits. Then there are other people that are also abstract. They talk about love, peace, Americanism, patriotism, faith, whatever, world peace. What does it mean? I mean, you have to come down the ladder and say, peace means supporting the UN, I would think. Peace means negotiating with enemies, specifically Iran, maybe. So the good communicator and thinker moves up and down the ladder. So when I was teaching writing, I had some students that never had a thesis. I'd say, you got to have a thesis for this writing. What's it all about? What are you trying to say? And then you've got to back up these abstractions. You could say, it's very important to have a family home that you grew up in. Okay, that's abstract. Now go down and say, well, my family home, I remember the backyard. I remember the lilac bush. I remember the beautiful peony bush, all those white globes. I remember the Christmas time when about 30 relatives slept all over the floor. I remember, you could say, well, if you're on Christmas, you could say, we had lots of company at Christmas. Well, let's abstract. What would be? Let's be specific. Well, okay, I'm going to climb down the ladder. Aunt Wilma and Uncle Foster came, drove down 100 miles. My brother and sister-in-law came from Syracuse, bringing lots of packages. We often had visitors from the past, and I need to get specific. Mr. Jones, or so-and-so, the preacher. Who was the preacher? Let's get specific, Reverend Butt. These are all little people who came home for Christmas. When I say there were lots of people there for Christmas. It just doesn't work not to go up and down the ladder. And so often, if you're all up at the high level, you need to be more tactile. Let's touch and see and feel and whatnot. But let's not stay at touching and seeing and feeling. What is the significance? What do they represent? It's such a simple thing, isn't it? But it is great for speaking, for writing, for thinking. And so climb up and down the ladder. Don't get stuck somewhere in the ladder. Give generalizations and then go down and give specific example. You can say, there are aunts who are very influential in my life. Well, let's climb down. What aunts? Aunt Wilma from Adams Center, Aunt Helen in Plattsburgh, New York, Aunt Isla in Ohio. And then you get more specific. Why did they make an impact on me? I remember Aunt Helen. She would always take me, she took me on the ferry across Lake Champlain as a kid. I'd never been over a lake. She took me to Fort Ticonderoga. She took me to a Jewish synagogue. She was always imaginative and whatnot. So, yes, I have favorite aunts. Climb down the ladder and get specific. And I hope that don't fall off the ladder, but climb up and down the ladder and have a great day.